Welcome back, friends. This is M-Dog. And we are at Old Burg once again. Trying to continue to focus at least some of my attention on spots that perhaps lower to mid-level players might be able to benefit from. And today we're at 3762. Now, because I haven't played a ton lately, I may be way late to the 3762 party. I don't know how active or aware the community has been of this spot. I will say, on either side of the shore here, right outside of the fort, there's a lot of spots in this area. So it's not a huge surprise that you'd be able to catch fish here in this spot. But the approach that I'm using is a little different than I might normally use. So the goal here is to catch really big Gibel carp and small to medium size common carp. That's at least the hope. We'll see if it works out that way. We are on the first two lines, we're at a 12 meter clip. And at the third line, we're at a 10 meter clip. I suspect this is a pretty big area. You could probably use a range of different clips here, basically casting towards the middle all the way over closer to that side. I haven't tried casting super short here on this side, but that might work as well. And in terms of what baits we're using, we are using pop-up size 14 or 2.5 or 2.6 gram banana pop-up boilies. And as you can see, we've got banana flavored corn with banana dip, and then a PVA that I sort of made myself. I'll show you that in a minute, but I did want to point out that we're using more like starter carp gear. So 20 kilo line with 18 kilo leader and lead core. For now, I do have still large one hooks, although I think going down to 2 or even 4 might make sense as well. We're using a sort of a starter carp rod. You could do a feeder rod here, you know. You could go with less strength than this, like maybe you've got Saber 60s and that's the strongest you have. You could use that in this spot. You may occasionally hit a common carp or a grass carp that's a little bit big, a little bit uncomfortable. It's not the ideal location if a fish is going to really run on you, but here at Old Burg, getting spooled doesn't happen too often, as long as you've got your running shoes on. And like I said, we're hoping that most of what we're catching here is going to be like really large gibels, like this one here. It's a nice one. Which, you know, gibels at that size do add up, especially if you're lower to mid-level. That's going to be reasonably decent silver. I noticed that there was a Gibel order that I filled when I tested this spot briefly, maybe an hour or two ago. It's like 18 silver for 4 or 5, 6 Gibels, something like that, small Gibel. So, you know, you might get lucky with a couple of cafe orders as well. But along with the Gibels, hoping that we'll see like that 3 to 6 range common carp size. Now, when they're this small, we'd rather that be a Gibel, which obviously that would be a huge Gibel. But this is sort of the size that we least want to see, the juvenile common, like less than 3 kilos. We're right here in the middle of the day, so if we're going to get less than ideal size fish, it'll be now. But I thought that would be a good time to really test this spot and see. Hopefully as we get towards evening, we might see some more ideal sizes. But so far it's not been bad. We're hitting the Gibels. We haven't hit any nice commons yet, or grass carp, but we'll see in the next few minutes what happens. And once again, here's the PVA. So what I did with PVA is I basically used basic Crucian Gibel ground bait recipe and just added banana to it since we're using banana baits. So this is not advanced level recipes here, pretty basic stuff. This would be fine without PVA. The only reason why I'm using PVA is just to try to stir up a little bit more active bite rate. if you don't have access to PVA or to spotting, ground bait, like just throwing a few pieces of ground bait in the water every few hours might even work better than what I'm doing. Or not using anything at all might be fine too. I don't necessarily have the sense that crucian gibels or those small species respond any better to PVA than to just regular ground bait, in my opinion at least. I don't know. I could be wrong. I haven't done a ton of research on that or like testing, but if I'm trying to hit a crucian gibel trophy spot and get as many trophies as I can, I would be just as comfortable doing that with ground bait as I would thinking that you need to add PVA. What the PVA may do, or I would hope that it might do, is give us an inside track on maybe hitting a little bit nicer carp in this spot, but I don't know. That may not be the case either. But that's what we're doing, and like I said, not having PVA, don't let that stop you. You might even have better results than I do. So we are hitting a little bit of a slow spurt here. Not a complete surprise given the time of day it is. So let's do a little digging. And now we wait. Oh, here we go. This might be our first like reasonable size carp. Yeah, this is like right at the edge of what this size leader and lead core can handle. We're actually going to have to like fight this fish a little bit, I think. And I think it's going to come in now. But yeah, it's just a little grass carp. Gave us a little pull. And that just shows you, if you're using less gear than this, even a little 6 kilo grass carp might take you for a run, at least initially. But that's what we want to see. We want to see that mid-size carp size. And then gibel carp coming in over a kilo. That would be sort of the ideal of this spot, I would say. Pretty quick response again on this middle rod. Oh, that's a gibel. This could be over a kilo, isn't it? Maybe not quite. 922. Now, of course, the next question will be that I may not have an answer to, at least in this video, but the next question would be if you just put out oh, interesting. We're not the only ones. But if you just put out whatever, honey doe, egg doe, some kind of regular bait, could you actually get a higher percentage or even better, total amount of decent sized gibel carp than go into all the trouble to use boilies here? And I don't know the answer. I suspect why people are doing the boilies here at Old Burg is that there has been quite a few trophies caught on the banana boilies. So that has sort of continued the trend of using those, but it doesn't necessarily mean you wouldn't get a really good result on non-boilie setups as well. And we're at 10 meters on this one. This one's a little shorter clip. The other two are 12. I mean, the other two we are basically fishing off of that shore over there. it is impressive overall, the bite rate that we are getting on gibels with boilies here. Sometimes when you use boilies to try to hit a higher percentage of trophies, the downside is sometimes you get so much slower of a bite rate. But even here in the middle of the day, it's not been bad at all. Well, so we are using I guess out of the non like in-game carp reels, so I would consider Megaras and Tagaras your sort of in-game like highest level carp reels. I don't even think of Vingas as carp reels. To me, those are something more than carp. But so Megara and Tagara, top of the line. If you take those out of the equation, I think the Avia 8000 is going to be my favorite carp reel. You do sacrifice a little bit of strength, but you've got such a big spool and enough power there that you can fight carp in most situations. And then here is the sort of beginner carp reel, Caliber HSV, which I do like a lot. Again, nice spool size. And then kind of in between the Avia and the beginner HSV is the SLC caliber. It's probably closer to the Avia. It's pretty dang strong, pretty nice. I like the Avia a little better, but that is a sweet looking reel. I do like the big boy caliber, but value-wise, I would tend to say the HSV for starter, and then the Avia for more of a mid-tier caliber reel. Even though I'm not crazy about the way the Avia looks, it looks all right. It has such a nice spool size. Look at that. At 0.32, you can fit 585 meters of line. But up to 0.42, actually a little above 0.42, you can still get a full 300 meter line on there. So really nice mid-tier carp reel. We're starting to see the bites come back in now, I think. So 15 minutes of fishing, 10 fish. Not the best, but we intentionally started at like the worst time of day for bite rate. So that's going to be part of it. I think there's a fish on this middle line. Yeah. Small gibel. Let's get it back out there. I think this might be a carp. Might be a grassy carp. No, it is a common. It's a nice common. That's going to be our nicest common yet. As we're starting to get into more of an ideal time here. And that's what we're looking for. Around that 6 kilo mark. We can comfortably get that size in efficiently. Worth a little more silver. Decent XP. That's kind of what we're after. can't get ahead of that rain comfort. Ooh, we're pumping it in. I think this is going to be a common, isn't it? Or is this a grassy? Yeah, it is a common. It's a nice one. Nice, healthy common. Look at that, 11.4. Ooh, that's a beauty. But again, remember, if you're going to fish here, just recognize what you can catch here. On some equipment, that would be a pain. But that'll help our silver per hour here. Getting a few commons like that. We'll change it dramatically. We definitely have not gotten enough gibels over a kilo to add up to anything much. But it's been okay. There's another nice one. And that's kind of what you're wanting, if you're, especially if you're low to mid-level. Trying to hit some of these nice XP fish that'll actually add up to some decent silver. But you also have to put up with the really big. So we're at 5 over a kilo. That's not too bad. Another one. Another decent common. It's going to be, what, 3.5 kilos, something like that. Maybe 4. Ooh, 4.4. I love it. Look how much better it is now that it's the ideal time of day. So, again, not bad, though. I mean, even starting off at not ideal time of day, we have not done bad. We're up to 21 fish in 22 minutes. And, you know, you're obviously like this time of day and then first thing in the morning, which I won't, you know, we'll stop here in the next few minutes, but you're going to get even better results at those times. I wish this was a gibel. Another nice common. I love it when Old Burg has spots like this where, you know, if you want to live on the edge a little bit as a sort of a mid-level player, getting your beginning carp stuff together, you can start to feel what carp fishing's like without completely ripping your gear up. I mean, we are catching some up around 10, 11 kilos, but most of them are smaller. It's a cool little spot. nice common. So we're starting to get a little higher percentage of commons than I was expecting. Compared to Gibels right now, but I'm okay with it. There's still some nice fish. Another common. Just really curious, like, are the Gibels still going to come out, or are the commons like taking over at the moment? And maybe this is the downside of using PVA. Maybe you'd see a higher percentage of fat Gibels. I don't know. There's a Gibel. That sounds interesting. Alright, we turned his head. See if we can just keep him coming in towards us. Late night grass carp here. Not bad. Not bad at all. Alright, I'm a fan of this spot. I like it. I'm convinced. It's pretty nice. Oh, our first crucian. I didn't even know they were here. I mean, you always assume, but even when I was testing earlier, I never saw a crucian, so that's kind of interesting. Still a little bit of rain. Still chugging tea. Fighting a losing battle on comfort. Ooh. I like it. We even got a trophy. Nice. That is very nice. 2.1? Huh. Alright, just for consistencies, I'm going to put this one at 12. I'm not going to fish much longer, but we'll get all three of them at 12 meters. Now this is going to be interesting here because we've gotten 2 trophies almost back to back. And if you notice the time of day, it's basically when the common carp kind of stop biting. Gets a little late for commons. You could still see a common, but less likely. The grass carp aren't too active here, so now can the gibels just sort of take over for a couple minutes? It's pretty interesting. And I'm not going to have the patience or the time to do this, but I think if you just kept fishing and hung out till 6 or 7 a.m., you might see 2 or 3 more trophies. I don't know. Like, they definitely suddenly are popping up, aren't they? So that's pretty cool. And I was already liking this spot a lot to all of a sudden see trophies hitting like that. That's no gibel. That is another common, so they will still bite some. And it's not, I mean, it's not impossible to catch common carp all throughout the night, but they definitely feel like they typically slow down once you're into the overnight hours. And that's, you know, that also happens to be when you see a higher percentage of trophy gibels and crucians, like all the way till early morning, so, or first thing in the morning. So it's kind of interesting. But I feel like we are using the pretty much the perfect size equipment for this spot to be able to efficiently fish it, because I mean, we don't have PVA anymore, but I'm not going to make a new batch because we're not going to fish much longer. We can pretty efficiently get anything we're going to catch here in, and if we did catch something bigger, then it's going to be probably pretty close to trophy size, so worth the fight. Other than if we did hit like a, I don't know, 15 kilo grass carp, that would be annoying and maybe not worth the effort. But besides that, pretty happy about anything you catch in this spot with this gear size, I would say. Another nice common. Okay, well, so let's go see the cafe, see our silver for the time. What have we done here? 35 minutes. Very, very nice 35 minutes of fishing here at Old Burg. I definitely like this spot a lot. So got this cafe order easily earlier, and this one. So again, just some nice cafe potential with the fish that we're catching in this spot. And so that trophy Gibel's 11.6. This one's 10.4. The 11 kilo common, 20 silver. It's all going to add up very nice. 190 silver. Nice. I love it. Really good. For Old Burg, or just for anything, really. It's a nice little spot. Nice little spot. All right, do we have any bites? It's that time of night where you're just not going to see one. Let's try to see one more fish, because we're getting close enough to like 3:30, 4 a.m. I suspect that's when we'll start hitting them again. There's one. And that was no PVA. I do think PVA is optional here. All right. There we go. One more fish to grow on. A little common. All right. Let me know if you've been fishing this spot or what you've been, where you've been hitting it big. Certainly wish all of you tight lines. I'm going to be out of town for a couple days, but I'll be back this coming Saturday. I look forward to doing some more fishing with you. But yeah, with decent equipment, 200 to 300 silver an hour, easy from that spot. And also just some fun Gibel trophies, which is always a lot of fun. Okay, as always, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.